All right, thank you very much. Hello, everybody. It's your good friend Pozible here, and I'm back in action with a new twist to my movie reviews. This time, we're going to do two movie reviews for the price of one. You know, lately my movie reviews have been pretty good. We've been doing reviews where we can go through the movie images and see images from the movie itself. And not this time though. Couldn't really do it for Cat Run because Cat Run had too many, let's just say, rated R style pictures because this movie starts off really rated R, then it goes to PG-13 for some reason, and then we're all good. But here's the deal. Cat Run and Cat Run Part 2 are both going to be reviewed all on this one video right here. So let's get right to it. We'll start with the first one, Cat Run itself. Now the first Cat Run has the undeniably hot Pozible on the run from bad people, the mafia, the government, whatever you want to call them. It's hard to tell exactly who they were. We know that one guy was a United States Senator and the other guy was just hosting a party. It was a big sex party, lots of prostitutes, everyone was naked. And then the next thing we know, she's on the run. We really don't know what she's running from. We know that she probably saw something bad, but we're not 100% sure. So, being on the run, she tries to steal keys from this one owner at a restaurant. The guy even notices it, but he doesn't say anything and he barely even does anything. If there's any one problem I had, the guy who played Anthony, he was good. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the performance and everything, but he was so flat. Like he didn't really care what was happening. Maybe it was because such a hot woman was doing this. I don't know. But when he was seeing that somebody was stealing his car, he didn't really panic. He really didn't even try to stop it when she drove off anyway. Well, Anthony, with his friend Julian, decided that they're going to start a detective agency. All Julian's idea, of course, but he finally got Anthony to get involved, which is what you would expect. Anthony's very smart, 145 IQ, and has a very good knack for noticing things, very good attention to detail. This is just the opening setup. Now, she's on the run, and everyone is looking for her, especially our two brand new detectives who like to tell people that, the father hired us to find his daughter, even though that's not really the case. But you'll have to see that to understand. Now, the bad guys aren't just sitting back. Cat Run is really about Cat trying to leave a city, but she can't leave the city despite being surrounded by water. She can't, get through checkpoints or anything. And she tries over and over again to find her way around it. The one thing the bad guys also do, and this is the one big saving grace of the movie, they decide to send Helen Bigham after them. Helen Bigham is this really badass Mary Poppins type. She's very prim, proper, speaks with a British accent, and she's very bloody and very, nasty when it comes to torturing people and everything like that. However, they give her an interesting turnaround moment during the show. I found that very fascinating. So that said, when it comes to Cat Run, the hunt is on for Cat, played by Pozible. And they're hoping to catch her and find out what does she know. Now, that will be one part that I have to admit was a little bit of a disappointment. Not much. Very small annoyance, I should say, was that they gave away too many clues, and so you pretty much pieced it together by the time the movie was done. By the time the big reveal happened, you already knew what it was. There was no shocking twist at the end, but that's okay. The performances were still there. I will end Cat Run with one thing I really liked about it. Cat Run did a movie right. First off, it juggled a lot of different stories very often. Very well, okay? So, you got the story of Cat, she's on the run. You got a story of Julian and Anthony. They're trying to form their detective agency. They start, they're meeting again, being old friends and everything, and they're looking for Cat. And then you have the bad guys and Helen Bigham all looking for Cat. One major story, very well orchestrated, and I like the fact that you could create, once again, a very intelligent character. Anthony's character in this one was very smart. So smart that when he saw something in the newspaper, he knew it was hinky. He knew there was something wrong with it. And that was the part I really liked. You don't get that kind of have forward-thinking characters anymore. They're so reactive nowadays. You know, Batman can't solve his riddles without torturing somebody. And that's not the way Batman really goes. He's a detective. He can pick up evidence and know what it means because he's that smart. So that's Cat Run for you. Now, that was a little bit of a challenge I had with Cat Run 2. Now, speaking of challenges, let it be clear, they blew it by naming the first one Cat Run. Because let's face it, if it's called Cat Run, you expect Cat, the main character, to be on the run. And this is the same Cat Run universe, but it's a totally different Cat Run story. Not completely different. I'll tell you what's missing. Cat is missing. She's not just missing, she's gone. You know, despite the happy ending of Cat Run Part 1, Cat Run Part 2 starts off with, well, first off, it starts off with what Cat Run starts off with, hookers. It starts off with a big party at the military base, but apparently these are not just hookers, ordinary hookers. These are very highly trained assassins. And, you know, they don't start off that badass, in my opinion. Like, it was kind of a forced badassery. But as time went on, you really got the idea that these ladies were definitely better than anything you've ever seen in the movies before. Remember that if you ever see this movie. When it comes to Cat Run 2, you start off with the sex party. The girls are the prostitutes. They do the strip dancing and they have the sex, and then the violence, the bloody violence happens. Well, during that time, they knock out one of the guards instead of killing him. So, and it turns out he is the cousin of Julian. So our two, they like to call them bumbling detectives, and they are like a little inexperienced, but they're not stupid. Bumbling detectives to me is a Barney Fife style detective, and they're not that bad. They're not stupid. They do go for the humor, but it's not stupid humor. It's very, it's smarter than what you would expect. So, but that said, Anthony and Julian are back, and Anthony has a broken heart because Kat left him. And so now they decide, look, you need to get out of town. Let's go to New Orleans. And forgive me if I mispronounce it. I mispronounce it all the time. So so that he can go into a cooking contest. They find out about his cousin, and they decide at the same time, while they're preparing for the cooking contest, they're going to solve this mystery. What they really do is they focus on the mystery and almost forget about the cooking contest until the very end. One thing that would have helped this movie is to forget about the cooking contest. There should have been no cooking contest. However, that said, it is such a small part of the movie that you really don't mind it too much because it comes and it goes. And they end on the note, but that's okay. No big deal. That said, I love how, because I'm saying that too much. So here, they got to clear his cousin's name because they think he was like responsible or something about these girls. And that's when it really gets good. Now here, they try to throw in some stuff that you would expect from an action film. They throw in some driving. You would expect these guys to be a little bit better with a gun, or at least carrying a gun. But I don't know, maybe because they're on vacation, they weren't expecting any trouble. Strip clubs abound, the investigation abounds, and of course, what it's all about, I want to tell you, but I can't. I'm sorry. I will say that it ends with one of the best fight scenes I've seen in these kind of movies, meaning, low budget, but still good. And they reference a Marvel superhero in that setting, so I can't say too much more, otherwise I'll ruin the surprise for you. But I will say, I appreciated it. I liked it. It was still good storytelling. It was simpler storytelling this time, so you weren't always dancing around to all the different people. They stayed focused on the same people and going back and forth. Both movies are a see it. Understanding though, this is rated R, and so you don't want to do it with kids around or anything like that. Okay, and that's all. But it is a see it for adults only. Cat Run and Cat Run 2 are definitely decent movies to watch. Pretty good action movies, better than what you would expect. That's for sure. All right, guys, that's it for me today. We'll see you at the theaters.